Welcome, everyone. New episode of New Tales Retold, and today we are covering the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's good.
So, spoilers if you have not seen it yet.
Yes.
I think it was a good start so far. It was we had a very serious tone, very Winter Soldier like vibes.
Yeah, a lot slower pace than I expected, but it was a good intro. 100%. Honestly, though, it definitely didn't hook me in like WandaVision did. But I thought, yeah, it was still good. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, because WandaVision did things so different that it was
Yeah.
intriguing. It was like,
Yeah.
what are they doing with this? And you're right, especially it's pretty slow paced for the first episode, and there's only going to be 6.
Yeah,
So
we didn't really get any Bucky action this episode. I guess
I
I
mean, we
think
did.
that's
We got
why.
some Winter Soldier action. We got some Winter Soldier
A
action,
little bit.
which was
Yeah.
nice. um, but in the beginning, we see Cap's old villain from Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, right at the
Um,
beginning again. He's right at the beginning. He gets
yeah.
beat
Yeah, good to be again. Well, he
both
escapes,
times.
so I
Oh
guess
yeah.
we'll see what happens with that. But that beginning part, that action scene,
Mhm.
is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I loved that.
Awesome.
That flight, that whole flying and everything, that looked amazing.
They
So
they
that was great.
yeah, they did it right. They incorporated it well. I was a little afraid that they wouldn't pull it off right. That
Yeah.
it wouldn't look right, but they're doing good. I was afraid they were gonna do like a DC Titans with Gar, you know.
But it was good.
um, but another thing with that in the beginning too is as much as he's kicking ass and it's awesome. We see so many vulnerabilities that he has.
Yeah,
Like in
definitely.
in when he's on the wingsuits for chasing the guys and
Mhm.
go to that tight corner in the mountain,
Yeah.
his wings are scratching and he's just like shit.
Yeah.
Um, so it
Oh,
goes to show that he's not good with tight spaces.
yeah, and also, yeah, especially when he's inside the plane, you saw how much it was a struggle for him to fight all those people inside that plane
Yeah.
with their guns. They always kept him with a distance because he is human. Guns will kill him.
Yeah. And they showed a lot of wing action as a shield.
Yeah, that was
And
pretty cool.
it is cool, but then it makes me kind of think to myself, then what's the point of the other shield? Like your wings cover your entire
He can
body.
throw it long range.
That's true. Yeah.
I remember in Civil War he had guns, didn't he? Did he have those in? I don't remember if he used them in his first episode.
I don't remember either. Well, I'm pretty sure that's because he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It was a lot of hand to hand,
Yeah,
hands to
it
hand
was,
because we
yeah.
want to see him as Cap.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true. Yeah.
and Cap only wielded a firearm I think in the old
Old ones,
comics.
yeah.
So
And the beginning of Captain America,
yeah.
First Avenger.
And one other thing that was a big vulnerability when he was being chased down by the helicopters. There's a scene where like debris gets in his face and he has to
Oh,
cover his
yeah.
face, and then he almost fucking crashes into the helicopter. But that's a huge vulnerability, especially if you're
Yeah.
flying in the sky.
Definitely.
And I feel like they pointed out all these vulnerabilities on purpose. We're probably gonna see his progression, his armor and his suit kind of upgrading
Yeah, I could see
throughout the
that.
series. But it's weird because then we see Red Wing, and Red Wing like uses its laser to open the airplane when he's trying to intercept in the beginning. And I don't know. I feel like if they try to do too much with his suit, I feel like it's gonna be too Iron Man ish. Like if they start giving him a whole helmet and a whole full
I don't
metal
think they're gonna
suit.
do that. I don't think they're gonna give him a whole helmet and full metal suit. I think that they're gonna keep it how it is. He's probably just gonna get better at using it
Yeah.
because it's like he had a little bit of experience using it, but not much flying really.
Yeah.
Like he used to have missions and everything with it, but now he's like really getting pushed to the limits because now he's started to go up against people who aren't average humans, who aren't these little soldiers.
Yeah.
Like these are a lot of them are extreme experienced killers, and
Yeah.
a lot of them, from what we've seen later in the episode, they are stronger than the average human as well.
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah, way stronger. But one awesome part too is I'm so glad that we're seeing some Red Wing action
Oh yeah,
because we saw him a little bit in Civil War in the
yeah,
beginning, then that was kind of it. And in the comics, and for anyone who doesn't know, Falcon, Red Wing in the comics is an actual
yeah,
bird. Like it wasn't, but it was a bird that obviously wasn't a normal bird. It's like
yeah,
also half vampire and all this other crazy stuff. And obviously in the comics, Falcon can speak to, like, has a connection to birds
yeah.
throughout the world, which would, if they kind of figure out a way to incorporate something like that, of him having some sort of eyes throughout, would be
Yeah.
really cool, because that it came in clutch for him in a lot of moments when he kind of didn't know what to do. He can just kind of scan around and speak to all the birds, and they'll literally tell him what they're seeing. So it
That's pretty
yeah
dope.
yeah.
That'd
So
be
it's like
crazy.
maybe they give Red Wing itself its own more dominant role. That's another thing I was thinking too. But it would make it too Iron Man like if he kind of, if Red Wing was
That's
sort
kind of
of like his
interesting.
Jarvis,
How would you
and
how
help
would
them
you
out.
feel if Torres picks up that role,
Of what?
being Red Wing? How would you feel if he's the one, he finds a way to kind of do that?
And they name him Red Wing. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. And so for those who don't know what he's talking about, Torres, the soldier in the beginning, Joaquin Torres in the comics was also the Falcon. He was
Yeah.
pretty much experimented on with Red Wing from the comics and was made into an actual bird. He can fly. He was also like kind of half vampire because of Red Wing.
Yeah.
He had, healing, super quick healing factor, all that stuff.
Which is interesting because if I remember in the trailer, or one of the clips, Falcon and Bucky are talking, and Bucky says, "Do you think we can trust Red Wing?"
oh crap! I didn't catch that. That's pretty cool.
So it's like
I would respect that.
there's gonna be something a little more.
Because so it's funny because I actually, before, so obviously no one knows this, we try to avoid reading and watching anything that
Yeah.
has to do with the episode before we record our own, so we have no influence from anyone else's
Yeah.
opinion, and we have our own fresh raw opinion. But I kind of did mess up once, and I was looking up Marvel stuff, and there was an article that mentioned Torres taking over the Falcon mantle, because it's
Okay.
technically Falcon. Sam Wilson is taking over
Cap.
the Cap mantle. But I do like the Red Wing idea. That's pretty cool, because what if we get a switch up? Bucky becomes Captain America, Falcon remains
Yo, that would be
Falcon,
crazy.
and then we get our Red Wing sidekick. Because we don't really get many sidekicks.
Yeah.
DC is much more like sidekick
Yeah. We
incorporated.
usually just get younger versions of the heroes, and they do
Yeah.
their own things
Yeah, exactly. They just
with
take
a
up
little bit of
mantles.
mentorship from their elder hero.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is funny. Speaking of the whole thing with Torres, when they're sitting down after the whole scene with them saving the priority target and
Mhm.
everything, they're sitting down and Falcon is kind of fixing Red Wing, and he goes to mention something. He's like, "No, whenever you ops touches him, he gets all glitchy." So that means obviously something's gonna go down with Red Wing, the little machine.
Yeah, maybe someone's
Hacks into it.
someone hacks into it, or maybe someone even is just, that's how they're manipulating,
Yeah.
limiting him, limiting Falcon in that way,
Yeah.
because it's like, they they seem to be they seem to not want him as Cap, as we see.
Yeah. Later on.
So
yeah, that's true. Which is
um,
interesting because it makes me wonder, like, how far into the future Cap went when he went to go be with Peggy and everything. Makes me wonder how far into the future he went, because it's like he gives him. It would be really interesting if he gave him the shield, and when he's like, "Oh, if how does it feel?" and he was like, "It belongs to someone else," and he's like, "It doesn't." It'd be interesting if during Cap, when he was in that other future, Falcon did become Captain America,
right? And that's his actual
and that
shield.
was his actual
That would
shield.
be cool. Like he got old just like Cap, or
Yeah,
maybe even died on a mission.
yeah, or something
And
like
it's like
that.
someone else, no one else in that timeline probably can take that
Yeah,
mantle. Maybe somehow Bucky died, or maybe he's still a bad
or
guy, or
maybe there's another
something.
hero,
Yeah,
other
exactly.
heroes, the Avengers.
So that would be that, and
It'd be
it
interesting.
would play into the whole
Yeah, the
multiverse
whole
vibe, and
multiverse
everything
thing.
they're going with. And it's funny because when we're speaking of them not wanting Falcon,
Yeah,
when he's giving up the shield, um he pretty much confirms when we see Rhodey there. He confirms with Rhodey that, like, the Captain America, Steve Rogers is Captain America.
yeah,
Like Captain America isn't just something to get passed around and tossed around.
yeah.
Like it belongs to Steve Rogers. That shield, that symbol belongs to Steve Rogers. Um, which I think, then again, maybe doesn't it play into them not wanting him as Cap, because he kind of outright came out and said like he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Who Jon Snow for a moment.
I don't want it.
I don't want it. But I mentioned that part specifically because I love that Rhodey was in that scene, and even though
Yeah.
it was so minor, it's like in the comics. Let's say if you get like a Spider-Man event, right? Spider-Man. I just realized. I was like, what made me think of it? You'll see here and there other heroes, even
Yeah.
if it's for one comic. They will appear because they do all. A lot of them live in New York. A lot of
Yeah.
them live.
In
So
the
it's
same
like,
areas.
and in the movies, we never really got that. It was like their story happening, and that's it. It's like, where's everyone else? Well, it's like now we're gonna start to see. Hopefully, we're gonna start to see a little more leniency and, like,
Yeah.
seeing other people.
There we go. There I go.
Technical difficulty. Video
Make
froze.
sure it's okay. Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be cool. Hopefully, we start to see a little more, interaction with other people there. That was the biggest thing with WandaVision.
Yeah.
It was like, where was Doctor Strange and all these other people that would be involved in something like this? We see Rhodey. Of course, Rhodey wouldn't be involved in something
Yeah.
like this. Like,
It's
so
true.
it's like WandaVision leaves a question mark of where the hell
Yeah.
is everybody. But I'm glad that we get to see that. And that scene of him mentioning that the mantle, that Captain America, that's Steve,
Yeah.
really brings that moment in the end. Like, really gave you that emotion that he was feeling.
Yeah.
Like the disrespect that he must have felt, and that slap in the face when in the end he sees the government appoints
Yeah.
their own Captain America.
That is, yeah, it's true, because especially for the fact that he knows he is the true, like, successor, if there is
Yes.
going to be one.
Yes.
Cap literally gave him that shield.
And the government
And
said,
said,
like, yeah, thank you for doing
yeah.
this. It's the right thing. Good
Yeah.
job. It's like, no, assholes. You wanted this shit
Yeah.
because you wanted to fucking decide who Captain America was.
Yeah. It's because they could take advantage of that. The fact
Mhm.
that they control Captain America.
Yes. Which, it's going to be cool. I feel like we're going to see Falcon in a much more, like, anti-hero role.
That would be
Either
interesting.
that or maybe we'll see Bucky more
Captain
in the,
America, more of the anti-hero role.
yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Did they say his?
Um,
They just called him Captain America. They haven't said his name, right?
Who?
The new Captain America.
Yeah, they haven't said his name.
Mm.
But
'Cause I don't know how
obviously-
I feel about continuing to call him Captain
I
America.
know. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he, if I'm not mistaken, is casted as U.S. agent.
That's what it says.
I mean, then again, you can
the
Google
casting?
shit and everything can
Yeah,
be,
that's true.
fucking edited. But it appears that I'm pretty sure he's portraying U.S. agent. I mean, it would only make sense. Because it would just get confusing if you just start throwing Captain America around.
Yeah,
It would
that's
literally
true.
disrespect the fucking role.
Yeah, that's true.
One thing that we see heavily in here that I really love is the effect Bucky.
Oh yeah,
has
returning
had.
to civilian life, everything he's done in the past.
And and we've talked about that so much.
Yeah.
We've talked about that so much about how even before we had any idea what this show was gonna be. How is Bucky okay?
Yeah.
It makes no
We
sense how
said
he
it-
went
we were thinking
through
about
all
it
that.
during Infinity War,
Yeah.
where they just pull up to Bucky like, here we're fighting another war.
Yeah,
like,
we were like, what
okay.
the fuck? Give this guy a break.
Yeah.
It's like, he's finally, which he even confirms. He's
Yeah.
like, Wakanda was the only peace I had for a small amount of time,
Yeah.
and then was thrown into another fight,
And then got dusted.
and then was killed and dusted for 5 years, and then came back. He's like, my life has just been all types of crazy. He's like, how is anyone
How
gonna
old is
be
he,
okay?
100?
106. That
106.
scene was so funny at the bar. But she's like, how old are you? 106.
106.
And she laughs. She's like,
Okay.
he's like, I really am 106.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the scene in Justice League when the Flash asks Aquaman, you think about Wonder Woman? You think she dates younger guys? He's like, she's over 5,000 years old. Every guy's a younger guy.
It's true.
And one awesome part
Mhm.
about his character, and one thing they did, the comedy is not forced. I don't feel it's forced.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel forced.
It's very natural
Yeah.
sarcasm, very natural, funny sarcasm. Yeah, I appreciate
It's
that. 'cause
it's
I love
what you would
sarcasm.
expect from someone who's trying to be nice. After going through what he went through,
Yeah,
you'd be
right?
super
After
sarcastic.
being a super
Yeah.
assassin for one of the worst organizations in history,
Yeah.
like it's insane.
And I feel like Bucky was kind of like, Bucky's gonna be the highlight of this show, man. I feel like Bucky's
Yeah.
honestly gonna steal the show from Falcon,
You
super
think so?
hard. I think so, because
That's
honestly,
fucked up.
his whole thing was just like, it was heartbreaking just to see all of it.
Yeah.
Like seeing what he's going through and the fact that he's making friends with this man and he's killed his son.
Yeah, that finding that out. First of all, getting that Winter Soldier scene was awesome because we haven't seen the Winter Soldier
since that movie.
badassery in a while, but
Since Civil War.
yeah, since Civil War, which was for I don't know Civil War. We can, a lot of people can debate on how they feel about that movie, but
Civil dispute.
yeah, the civil dispute. We haven't seen that in a while, and oh, go ahead. You finish your thought. I'm sorry.
No,
'Cause
I
I'm
was
trying to find a comic that I'm trying to
I wasn't
reference
saying
here.
anything.
So I'm trying to get the comic series
Mhm.
that I'm trying to because I don't want to talk about a comic series and then not tell everybody
What
the
comic
comic
series?
is, and they're gonna be like, okay, so it doesn't help.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing with Yori, which is the old man that he's pretty much became friends with. It's interesting to see that because he's going about it how you wouldn't expect it, because the whole part with Yori, how he's making friends with this guy, and it's just like you would like at first they made it seem like he was making amends in a way that he was just getting back all the people that did him wrong,
Yeah.
that forced him to do wrong things. How he went to that lady, I forgot exactly what he said, but how he was just like, yeah, it was like rule number 3 or rule number 4.
Oh yes, when he's talking to his therapist.
Yeah,
Don't hurt anyone.
that was rule number 1.
No, he said, why wasn't that rule number 1? It
Oh,
was rule
yeah.
number 3 or
It was
something
rule
like
number
that.
3, yeah.
And he was
Rule
like,
num-
it's
rule
the
number-
most important.
Rule number 1 was don't break the law.
Yes.
And it just like as they're saying it, he's breaking the rules as they're mentioning the rules.
It's
And
like,
I thought
no,
that
it
was
wasn't breaking the law.
I thought
I
it
didn't
was
hack into her
great.
car. And just, completely make them think they're getting abducted.
And in the oh man, we have to get what he said in the end, where he was just like, what he has to say to them after making amends, and he's like, oh, I'm just here making amends, blah blah blah. I forgot. Damn.
Oh, he
What he
says,
said to the
I am
lady.
no longer the Winter Soldier.
Or something like
I am
yeah.
now Bucky Barnes. I'm making amends like for the stuff he's done.
I thought that was
He
hilarious.
smiles.
He just leaves her there. I was just like, that's great.
That shit is great.
And then that's when it just does a whole 180 and shows him with the order.
Yeah, that scene.
Like,
He it's funny because even in it's like he can't do it. I'm pretty sure that's probably what we're gonna see in the end. because
him.
he has his list. He has the list of people he needs to make amends to, or make amends
And
to, or
watch Yori say something like, "I knew the whole time.
right. I always knew.
I've
Hail
always
Hydra.
known."
You're like what? That would be fucking crazy.
Yo.
But no, they've confirmed too much. They at least they've mentioned too much about how him not knowing has been the most hurtful thing,
Yeah.
or maybe knowing them or everything they did with WandaVision, throwing us off completely with
Yeah,
everything.
that's
They
true.
probably are doing that. Like
Yeah.
maybe he is heartbroken because he knows that maybe the own organization he worked for or
Got his son killed.
got his son killed. That'd be messed up. Um, Speaking of things being messed up, how is it that an Avenger cannot get a loan?
Yo. He didn't get paid.
Wild.
He
He
was like,
didn't.
it was a volunteer. Good
Like
job.
he was a volunteer. He saved the world.
Didn't
And
even
then the
get
fact
paid.
that they even take into account the 5 years that he was missing, like
Yep, for his finances.
fucked up.
Like,
And it has
that's
the nerve. Can we
foul.
take a picture with your hands open? He looked at him like, "Are you serious?"
Yo. That whole scene got me so pissed off. I'm like, yo,
An
this is
Avenger who saved the
'Cause-
world and was just
because if
shitted on.
Stark was alive, he would have gotten paid.
Yes, yo. That whole company
He would've
his
gotten
family
paid.
business would
Yep.
not be going under. That's like that's insane. It's like it's unheard of. That scene didn't even make sense to me. I was like, this guy.
Like,
This
it's
can't be
so
happening.
foul. It's so foul.
Yeah. So we get a glimpse of the Flag Smashers.
Yes, the
In
Flag
this
Smashers.
episode, and it's pretty cool because the Flag Smasher, in the comics was an individual. I guess you could say the mantle was like passed down as a different
Yeah.
one died. But pretty much originally Flag Smasher was pretty much a terrorist, a one man terrorist who eventually did start his own organization.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's pretty cool how they're starting it as an
Yeah.
organization. Like it's not even an individual.
And was Baron Zemo at all connected to the Flag Smashers?
What's funny is he isn't. Not in the
Mm.
or at least not in any comic I read. And I haven't read too many. But the one comic I did read, which is pretty interesting. I finally got who wrote it. It was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's the newest one. Written by Derek Landy. And in that comic series, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier have to pretty much work with Baron Zemo to take out another rival group.
Interesting.
So it's pretty interesting when you think about the scenes of the
Yeah.
trailer. We had Bucky standing in front of Zemo, at least without the mask at one point. So we're probably, and obviously in the end of the comic, Falcon and Winter Soldier take out both groups and
Yeah.
whatever, action stuff. But it's making me wonder if it's gonna go in that direction.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go in the direction of they're gonna work with him,
Yeah.
like work with the enemy because the Flag Smashers are such a problem.
That would be interesting because that would be a good way to have Baron Zemo in this series and still have him alive to be a villain in
the
future.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it's like, yeah, they temporarily had his help, and of course, in the end, it's gonna turn out he had his own plan, and then he's
Yeah.
gonna escape.
And no kidding, that comic series, I swear, as I'm reading it, I'm hearing the MCU actors because it's it's spot
Really?
on. Like I got the straight. Like as I was reading it, I was thinking to myself, this is gonna be the show.
Cool.
This is gonna be the show right here, and it's gonna be. And if they do, there's a villain in there called the Natural, who's a young kid who's just super strong. He beats the shit out of both Falcon and Winter Soldier by himself.
Sheesh.
That's gonna be interesting. And if
Yes,
they
it
if they do that, I'm wondering if it's gonna be the girl. The trailer, we keep seeing that one specific Flag Smasher girl. She puts
Yeah.
the helmet on. We've seen her in a handful of different scenes. Make me wonder if they make her the Natural. That would be pretty cool.
That'd be interesting.
Where was I? Yeah. As for the mantle being passed, it's I think we're gonna see both of them kind of struggle with the idea of following Steve's values and not just one of them.
Yeah, because that's kind of what happened in the comics, right? With
Mhm.
U.S. Agent, and in the he wasn't really a bad guy. He thought what he was doing was what Captain America would have wanted.
Yeah.
So it's like it's gonna be cool to kind of see those two point of views crash into each other,
Mhm.
because you're gonna have Falcon who thinks he knows what Cap wants, and then this guy who thinks he knows what Cap wants, and they're gonna both be fighting for that title of Captain America with two different types of like ideals,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be very interesting to see if they can really pull that off, if the MCU can really pull that off.
Yeah. Because because either one of two things are gonna happen. Because look, we have the Flag Smashers. We have the LAF in the beginning, then we have the Flag Smashers, and then you have Baron Zemo and U.S. Agent if he is
Yeah,
U.S. Agent. 4 villains, 6 episodes. Someone is either
yeah,
gonna turn good or like good, a little anti-hero moment, or 2 out of the 4 enemies are just gonna get wiped quickly in the show. Which that would be disappointing.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting what they're gonna do with 6 episodes.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be. I'm hoping, and I'm hoping we get a little more, action of Bucky with the shield.
Did they say if this show's gonna lead to any movies?
No, the last thing I've read about anyone official coming out like Kevin Feige coming out, he pretty much said that they're treating the shows just as they do the movies.
Just like open ended, so it
Mhm.
can continue anyway.
No, not that's like no. They write
Not
and
open
do
ended,
it and
yeah. But
like
like,
without the intention of making another.
okay,
So it's like if it works out, it works out great. We can do a part 2 or 3.
okay,
But they do it. They're focusing on that individual thing, that individual
yeah,
project. So I think it's hopefully we'll see.
yeah.
We get another episode Friday. So
See how that
I
goes.
would have had a little more knowledge in their comics by then too.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we'll be there. Thank you all for listening. Fun as always. We're gonna switch things up, and on our next episode, we're gonna be talking a little gaming.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing a lot of comics pretty heavily because it's really what we have.
It's God of War, right? What they call it? God of War.
God of War or Overwatch?
Or
Because God of
Overwatch.
War I might need some time. It's a pretty complex game, so
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I feel like that would be a long episode.
It would be a long episode.
Yeah,
It would be a very long episode.
definitely. But thank you all
It's a
for
lot.
listening,
Yeah.
and
Thank
see you
you.
guys next time.